Alright, this is Module 4, Lesson 15, Homework Help for 5th grade. There's a homework I'm assigning. And we're going to start off by multiplying and model. Rewrite the expression as a number sentence with decimal factors. So over here we have 1/10 of 1 2/10. Alright, so first thing we're going to do is we're going to have to show a 1 2/10. So I am going to show that by basically shading in one whole 1 to represent the 1. Okay, that represents this 1 right here. And then it says 2/10, so on the second one I'm going to show 2/10. That's only 2 lines on this one. Alright, so next we need to multiply. So I am going to go ahead and change this into fractions first. 1/10 times 12 over 10. How do I know it's 12 over 10? Because I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 tenths. Okay, so each one of these rectangles is a 1. Okay, now right here also I can say this is 10 tenths and this is 2/10. If I put those together I get 12 tenths. Alright, so now we do our multiplication of fractions just like we did before, and the objective here is to understand the connection to decimal multiplication to fraction multiplication. So we have 1 times 12 over 10 times 10. Okay, hopefully you know 10 times 10 is 100, and 1 times 12 is 12. So we have a 12 100ths. So what that means is we're going to shade in 1/10 of all of this twice. So 1/10 would be right here. There's 1/10 of this and 1/10 of this. Okay. So we have 1/10 and 1/10, and if we count all of those it comes out to 12 hundredths, because each one of these little boxes is a hundredths. So this one right here, this box here, is 1 100ths because there's 100 in the whole thing. So we have 12 100ths total. Now how do we show that in decimal form? Okay, rewrite the expression as a number sentence with decimal factors. So we're going to do that right now. We're going to go ahead and multiply 1/10 times, and we already have this one, 1 2/10 equals to 12 hundredths. Okay, this right here is right here. All right. So now we need to multiply these. Again, we're going to first turn them into, the whole idea is to turn them into fractions. So we're going to turn them into fractions. So this is 15 hundredths. Again, look above if you're not sure how I got 15 hundredths, times 3. All right, so that becomes 1500 on the bottom times 3. Remember that this is basically 3 times 1, and 100 times 1 is 100, so I'm not putting that there, but you get the idea. Oh, sorry, there is a mistake here. It's not 100, it's supposed to be 10. Sorry, I can't erase on this thing. I have to, because then it erases the whole thing. So it's 15 tenths, it's my mistake, 15 tenths times 3. All right, so we have 15 times 3 over 10. And we have now 15 times 3 is 45 over 10. Hopefully you see that 45 over 10, I'll write it down here, is the same as 4 and 5/10. If you're not sure how I did that, again, 45 divided by 10 will give me 4. It gives me a 5 when I subtract. That 5 goes on top of the 10. Why 10? The 10 is over on the side over here because we're dividing by 10. All right, so that's 4 and 5/10. Now, if we did the multiplication, just a little side note here, if we did this, rounded this up to 2 times 3, our answer would be 6. So if we did that, we know our answer is close, 4 and 5/10, or 4 and a half, for some of you who are a little more savvy. Okay, you can write 4 and a half. Now, it wants you to put it in decimal form, so I'm going to go ahead and write this as 4 and 5/10. So we know our answer is right. Some of you might think, wait, 1 times 3 equals 3. Our answer should be closer to 3. You're right. It's between 3 and 6. 4 and a half is between 3 and 6. All right, again, now this time we have 2 decimals going on. So we're going to put both of these into decimal form. So again, the 15/10, we just did it on the other problem, and this time it's 3/10. And now we have 15 times 3 over 10 times 10. So this one's a little bit different. We still have the 45 on top, but now we have 100. Okay, so now we have 45 hundredths. That's the end. I don't need to go on another step because 45 is less than 100. All right, now how do we write that? Well, hopefully you know that the 45 hundredths is 0.45. We've been practicing this in class, so hopefully you understand that. All right, moving over. Now we have the same thing. Oh, nope, this one changed. The 15 changed. Instead of 15/10, now it's 15 hundredths times 3/10. This one stayed the same from the B. All right, so we still have 15 times 3. Now it's 100 times 10, which hopefully you see is 1,000. We have 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. All right, now we have it over 45. So now our 45 needs to end in the thousands place. So we have decimal, 0, tens, hundreds, thousands. So our 5 has to go here, our 4 goes here, and we have a 0 here. See how the shift, it's shifting down in our answers. All right, we went from 45 tenths to 45 hundredths to 45 thousandths. So that's your practice in that respect. I have one more problem I want to show you. And, oh, well, no, I have a lot more problems. My mistake. You're lucky. Let me check what homework I have. BDFH. B, D, F, H. I'm going to cross those out so you don't want to do those. Those are your homework. All right, but if you see the progression, they do progress. So I am kind of helping you out. All right, the top is all the same, 4 times 6 here. See the similarities between these two? Okay, but the bottom is different, and we already did 100 times 10 is 1,000 in our practice problem here. And 4 times 6, if you're not sure what it is giving it to you over here. 4 times 6 is 24. Our answer is going to be 24 for the top of all of these. But this time it's 24,000. All right, so we're going to write it in 24,000. Whoops. Again, the 24, the 4 is in the thousands place. Okay, so there we go. Now the middle, again, we're going to set it up with 7/10 times 3/10, and hopefully you see that 7 times 3 over 10 times 10. So, and that end result, I'm going to put it on the side instead of underneath because I don't have room, is 21/100. Now how do we write 21/100? Well, we have our ones place, then we have our tens and our hundreds. So our 1 goes in the hundreds place, we have 21/100. So you put the 2 in front of it. Alright, 21/100. Now let's do a tenths place. Alright, so here we have 13 over 10 times 5 over 1. You technically don't need to do that, but that's basically what's happening here. So we have 13 times 5 over 10 times 1, which is equal to 10 over here on the bottom, and 13 times 5 is 15 plus 1 is 65. Alright, so we have 65, and it's 65/10. So again, here's our tenths place. The 5 goes there, the 6 goes in front of it. 65/10, or 6 5/10. Alright. I think I'm going to skip I because I set it up for you in G and you just have to carry it over. Just look at C for some help on I. And I'm going to help you set this up. We have Jennifer makes, or talk about it at least, Jennifer makes 1 7/10 liters of lemonade. If she pours 3/10 of the lemonade in the glass, how many liters of lemonade are in the glass? Okay, so they want you to see if they pour 3/10 of the lemonade. So again, it's just a basic multiplication of 1 7/10 liters of lemonade and 3/10. So look to, you can also look, this is 7/10, so I would look at the middle ones for help on that. Okay, so look at these middle ones up here, because we have the 1 7/10, and then we have 3/10. We have up here, we have 5/10. So what you do in the middle is basically what you're going to be doing down here. Okay? Alright, so I think that's all the help I'm going to give you, and may the force be with you. There is a bonus word that I need to tell you, and let me think about what I'm going to use. Pen. I'm looking at a pen. P-E-N. Pen. Good luck. Oops. Sorry. Can't touch it.